we're just a month away from the 2022 midterm elections. So I thought now would be a good time to go over where Congress and other elected roles currently stand, what's up for grabs, and campaign highlights around the country. I'm Michele Carroll. Welcome to the News Diet. Political campaigns often seem to be never-ending, so for the sake of my own sanity, I tend to stay out of the rabbit hole until closer to Election Day when the campaigns and political fighting have likely gotten everything out on the table. So only being a few weeks out, let's jump into it. As you likely know, the midterms are the elections that occur at the midpoint between the presidential elections. Here, political seats around the country will be contested federally in Congress, as well as on the state level with governorships and other roles, as well as local elections like mayoral and county. What seats are contested is different around the country, as different positions have different term limits. For example, members of the House serve 2-year terms and so are up for re-election every other year. Senators, on the other hand, serve 6-year terms and are organized in a way that only a third of the Senate is up for re-election every election year. This doesn't include any special elections that might take place, like if members of Congress resign or retire early, or if they're appointed into a new role, as is the case with Vice President Kamala Harris, who served as senator representing California before holding her current role. Currently, the political makeup of Congress is that the Senate is split 50-50, with 50 Republicans, 48 Democrats, and 2 independents who caucus with the Democrats. However, with VP Harris serving as tiebreaker, Democrats essentially hold the majority. And in the House, Democrats also hold the majority with 220 seats to the 212 held by Republicans, as well as a few open seats. One interesting fact to point out is that this will be the first elections held after the 2020 census redistricting, so some districts don't have a current incumbent or actually have multiple incumbents. On the state level, this year we'll see elections for the governorship of 36 states. Most governors serve 4-year terms, but some states, like New Hampshire and Vermont, serve 2 years. Other state positions up this year are attorney generals, secretary of states, state treasurers, state legislators, and you get the idea. Throughout the year, we've also seen some Native American tribes hold elections for tribal executive positions as well. This cycle, main issues at the tops of voters' minds are a mix of more broad topics like the state of the economy and inflation, or geopolitical affairs like the Russia-Ukraine war, and also specific hot topics like abortion, guns, and student loan forgiveness. Over the last few months in the buildup, we've seen politicians campaigning or pushing through policy on these issues in an effort to gain some political leverage before November 8th. As we know, political campaigns are notoriously contentious, and this cycle is no different. Here are some campaign highlights that have dominated the headlines this year, some of which just broke this week. Let's start with the leaked audio that came out over the weekend of Los Angeles Councilwoman Nury Martinez. The recording was from a meeting in October 2021 with fellow members Gil Cedillo, Kevin De Leon, and Ron Herrera.
And then there's this white guy with this little black kid who's misbehaved. The kid is bouncing off the effing walls on the floor, practically tipping it over. There's nothing you can do to control him. Parece changuito.
Translation, little monkey.
They're raising him like a little white kid, which I was like, this kid needs a beat down. Like, let me take him around the corner and then I'll bring him back.
She also made comments about the race of other elected officials and communities. This recording caused an uproar among Los Angeles residents, many of whom protested a Los Angeles City Council meeting yesterday, calling for the resignation of all parties involved in the audio. Now, these council members aren't up for re-election next month, but this did bring attention to the mayoral candidates Karen Bass and Rick Caruso in the last leg of their races. The councilwoman at the head of the controversy had endorsed Bass, which Bass is now trying to reject. But of course, opponent Caruso had taken the opportunity to try to draw a connection between her and the controversy. And then we have Herschel Walker, the Republican Senate nominee for Georgia, which is currently held by Democrat Raphael Warnock. Remember, the Senate is currently split, so every win and loss matters, and Georgia is now considered a swing state, so the gloves have come off. Herschel Walker has spent much of his campaign pushing back on accusations that he abused his ex-wife and son, and also criticisms of fathering several children with several different mothers out of wedlock when he himself has criticized absent fathers. And then to add to that, one of those women alleged that Walker had once paid for an abortion for a previous pregnancy, which is controversial considering that the candidate is a vocal opponent of abortion. Walker denies these accusations. And then there's John Fetterman, the Democratic Senate nominee of another swing state, Pennsylvania, who suffered a stroke in May. Fetterman continued with his campaign against opponents opponent, Dr. Oz, but concerns over his health ignited this week after an interview with NBC News showed that he needs reading captions to understand oral communications, that he occasionally stutters his speech, and that he declines to share his medical records. Of course, there's more going on in the elections, but I did want to highlight some of the stories that so far have made headlines. We still have a month to go, so I'm sure this will not be the last time that I talk about midterms. You've just been informed, so now it's time to get on with your day. I'm Michele Carroll. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode and want to continue following a healthier alternative for staying informed, where I forgo partisan fighting and fear-driven narratives and just get to the point, then please be sure to hit that subscribe button, as of course you'll get more of this show in your feed, and also you'll be helping this new channel grow and reject sensational media. Thank you so much for your support, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode.